so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, real quick before I get in the video, I want you guys to understand that I am walking down a whole community of houses right now that is available to be sold. And essentially what's going on right now, guys, is new home builders are in super big trouble right now as a result of the demand destruction from the Federal Reserve. Now, obviously what that's doing, guys, and also as a result of their existing inventory and the amount of new building that is going on right now, that is forcing them to cut sweetheart deals with Wall Street investors. And today what we're going to talk about is why Wall Street may not be interested in purchasing these homes, and we're really going to take a look at what's going on in new construction right now. Now again, you guys, remember, as I'm walking down here, understand that this entire neighborhood is up for sale, and more than likely, and this is a Lennar neighborhood, by the way, and as you guys know, recently Lennar is selling 5,000 homes to an institutional investor, essentially that is in Kansas. So, we really want to keep an eye on all things new construction, guys. Look at all of this stuff that's available, that's still being purchased. I mean, there's a lot. Now, do me a favor, guys. Let me know if you like these field videos. I like these field videos, but comment below. Let me know if you like it. Hit like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. But either way, guys, let's get started on this video. I want to show you how much inventory Lennar actually has. Now, right in front of me, I actually see a sales agent trying to sell some customers. And hopefully they don't kick me out of here. They shouldn't, but I mean, look at all this, guys. I mean, very beautiful, right? A lot of stuff going on, a lot of development going on here. All right, I wanted to wait till that sales agent left with their clients. I just didn't want to obviously go out there. But here's what's happening, guys. Essentially right now, Wall Street is having their own fear of purchasing homes. So they're going through their own fear because Wall Street knows that, essentially there's a recession right now, and, they're going to want to see 30% drops in prices before they start purchasing these entire blocks right here. And again, look at all this. I mean, there is so much building going on. It's really quite shocking, you guys. And the reason it's shocking is because the inventory that they do have is not, sold yet. So the fact that there's, this continuous amount of permitting and building going on top of all of the existing inventory is just going to put more pressure on these new home builders to offer even, bigger discounts. But I think it's especially intriguing to think about, Wall Street pulling back, and especially Blackstone is pulling back. And again, you guys, they understand what's coming. They're going to wait for bigger discounts. And one of the things that these institutional investors are looking at right now is, the cancellation rate being over 25%. So, in other words, they can't sell these houses. And I stopped by a sales office to do another video here, and he said the cancellation rate is over 50%. And really, guys, so that's one thing. They see the cancellation rate, but another thing, guys, is QT. I mean, quantitative tightening right now is worse than it was in 2008. So it's becoming really unaffordable for everyone right now to purchase real estate, including Wall Street investors as well as the retail sector. I mean, I'm walking through here, guys. Shocking. If I go about half a mile behind me, we're going to go into the finished parts of this development. But very intriguing, guys. They're having fear. A lot of them are holding out of going back into the market. But not only is the cancellation rate there, not only do these new home builders want bigger discounts, another thing, and the quantitative tightening is hurting them, but another thing, you guys, that they're looking at is obviously the amount of inventory. So there's so much inventory right now, and obviously, guys, according to Fred, there's 8.9 months of inventory right now. So in other words, you guys, I hope you understand what I'm saying. There are so many things that are putting pressure on new home builders right now. It is astronomical. And again, I don't think these Wall Street investors are going to be able to bail them out. A lot of people are saying that. And the reason is, like I pointed out, Wall Street is suffering from quantitative tightening themselves, and they don't want to, invest in something that is going through a recession. I mean, think about it. So, in other words, guys, all of this, is going to be sold at even more rock bottom prices. All of this is going to force the builders to continue to fire sell, but it is astonishing. Take a look at how much is really available. And again, guys, this is in Texas, in Houston, Texas. Take a look at this real quick. Amazing. Amazing, guys. So frame houses over there. There's a whole nother back community over there. All of this is still being constructed. All of this right here is being constructed. Both sides available. Now, way back there, you guys, are, houses that are currently, sold to, in the retail sector already. So essentially, guys, because of all of this desperation from the builders, they're gonna do what they always do, which is pull out the same, handbook to offer insane buying incentives, for, the general public. And I'm actually walking through a sales office right now where they're having a year-end sale, and there is a whole bunch of people here right now, actually more than you would have thought. Actually, they're so desperate to, move these products, they're so desperate to do that they're even reaching out to institutional investors in hopes that they buy these houses in bulk. And as you guys can see here, I'm at, I don't know if you guys can see in the background, but I'm actually at a Lennar community right now in sales office that's running a year-end sale. And, I don't know how much money that they're putting into the sale, but even with these sales, you guys, they still can't sell these properties. And we went into the sales office, found out they're actually building 180 units right now. So obviously, on top of that, them having too much inventory, there's also a whole bunch of building going on. This is just one community right here. Now, the thing is, like I said, what they're also trying to do is sell, if they can't sell these to general public, and they're pushing hard. There's, two signs. I don't know if you guys can see behind me, but there's two signs actually behind me as well. But, the thing is, guys, it's not going to work. This is only going to pull in so many buyers. The fact of the matter is, especially Lennar, they're really leaning on and hoping that the institutional investor or the rental organization is going to come in and save the day. But like I said, these institutional investors like Blackstone and places like that, they're going to want, 20 to 30% discount if they're going to buy in bulk. So, but not only that, Blackstone has also limited, like I've discussed, withdrawals from the real estate fund. So Blackstone is on the sideline right now. Lennar is hoping that they're going to get bailed out. But like I said, guys, these sales and these offers right now aren't working. I mean, I'm literally looking at, let me see if you guys can see behind. This is an entire community right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna walk it here in a minute just to show you guys. But that entire community right there, if Lennar could find an institutional investor right now that would purchase that for 15% off, I have no doubt that they would sell it. Even 20% off, I have no doubt that they would sell that. But, but again, rightfully so, institutional investors are, quite frankly, worried. And they should be worried because everyone's canceling the contracts. When we talk to another one of these home builders, which is, right next to Lennar, which is MI Homes, he basically said that his cancellation rate has been over 50%. So over 50% cancellation rate from MI Homes. But, we also went into MI Homes. They're cutting prices across the board. From what I can tell, MI Homes, again, right behind me, is doing 15 to 20% off their inventory, and on top of that, offering a 5.5 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So these new home builders are taking out all the stops just to stay in business, to be able to liquidate these homes. So basically, they don't have to file for bankruptcy. But like I'm saying, you guys, the institutional investor understands this. So even though they're pulling out all the stops, even though they want to sell blocks of homes for 10 to 20% off, these institutional investors, Blackstone, apartment organizations, they're not going to bite because the cancellation rate right now, we're in a housing market recession and no one is buying and no one is renting right now. So in other words, you guys, this community right in front of me, it's, it's possible that it's going to turn into a ghost town. And right now, you guys, I'm in Texas. Historically, Texas is strong, but I can see some new construction areas in Texas being like Las Vegas in 2010 and 2009, which was entire neighborhoods that were ghost towns. And even then, the institutional investors were not purchasing. So in other words, you guys, I don't think Lennar is going to have much of a lifeline here. There may be some initial institutional investors that purchase right now, but all of the data is saying even to the institutional investor to wait. I mean, look at how desperate Lennar is. You see the sales event right there? They're doing a year-end sales. Another sign, year-end sales. There's a lot of people actually in here. So, it's just something else to keep an eye on, guys. Let's move on to the next part of the video. All right, guys, so one thing I want to point out is that Home Partners of America, which is the largest privately owned landlord in America, which is also Blackstone owned, has actually pulled out of the market in about 38 different metro areas. So, this is not something that I'm guessing about. This is actually happening right now. So, these sweetheart deals, at least at this stage, that Lennar and these other new home builders are offering to Wall Street investors, quite frankly, guys, it's not yet working. Now, here's the thing, is it possible that, once these new home builders offer even more ridiculous incentives, that they do come back to the market? Yes. Obviously that's possible. And obviously, guys, we don't want an institutional investors, essentially purchasing this whole block. I mean, there's an entire block of houses, single family residences around me right now, probably, hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate that I'm standing, in a very close proximity to. So, in other words, if Lennar gets, too desperate and they offer price cuts that are too big, that's going to be bad for all of us. So we don't want that. But I will say it is refreshing to, see these institutional investors and rental organizations pull back. Because again, what that tells us, guys, is they see further price declines coming in the future. And that's actually really good news for us, because generally, or at least, the consensus is investors know what's going to happen first. So if we, see these investors pulling out like this, that's a signal to the rest of us that the liquidation is going to continue and the desperation will also continue. So really, really cool, guys. And what I'm doing now is, essentially just walking, where there's new construction going on right now. I thought it was super cool. But again, guys, if too many of us are not prepared to take advantage of these buying opportunities and buying incentives, then, it is possible that, these institutional investors will make this entire block that you see right behind me rentals, and we don't want that. Could you guys imagine if Blackstone came into this community here in Tavola in Texas and just purchased every house behind me and turned it into a rental? I mean, wouldn't that set back the market right here? Wouldn't that hurt the locals, and wouldn't that hurt the natives? I believe it would in a normal situation, guys, but here's the reality of what I think is happening. I think that this time around in this crash, guys, I think everyone's going to get hurt, especially the institutional investors. So I say, for right now anyways, by all means, institutional investors come in, buy these houses. Obviously there's a housing market recession. People don't want to rent right now and people don't want to buy right now. So if these if these investors come back into the housing market too soon to purchase properties, it will spell their demise. So, it's kind of a fear, investors right now have a fear. And, it's kind of refreshing to see that, but, because we don't want them buying all of this stuff. But it's reassuring because, to me, it's confirming what we already know, that we're in a housing market crash, we're in a recession, things are only going to get worse. And despite how desperate Lennar is right now to sell all of these houses and other new home builders, Wall Street is not going to come to their rescue. A few reasons why. There is so much existing inventory right now, but on top of the existing inventory right now, there are so much permits to build right now. So it's like a triple whammy when you throw in quantitative tightening as well, which will affect new home building substantially. And not only that, let's add one other thing into the mix. The Federal Reserve is undertaking what is being called demand destruction. So in other words, guys, every single person, upper, middle, lower class right now, is being rug pulled by quantitative tightening and by the Federal Reserve. So we're going to see more and more of this happen. I'm personally interested to see how many Wall Street investors actually come into the market right now to try to save these homes when they know that if they just wait, it's going to be cheaper. And again, another thing, they say an institutional investor comes here and buys this entire neighborhood right now. If they do that and turn it into rentals, it's just going to put more pressure on the rental market to collapse and rental prices to go down. So, very, very astonishing, you guys. Essentially, no one is safe, and this is super scary. And what I think is going to happen, and then I'll wrap this video up right now. I think what's going to happen is this: when we go into the year of 2023, the minute that these new home builders, Lennar, Pulte, D.R. Horton, the minute that their stocks start to melt down, that's when we're going to start seeing more and more home builders go into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They're going to start offering even more insane buying incentives. That happens as soon as their stocks get cut, because when their stocks go, guys, no one's buying. They're left with all this inventory with poor financing. it's time to panic. I mean, if you think about it, it's actually pretty scary because, you know, 18% of our economy is, you know, the real estate market. And you know, it is what it is, guys, but keep an eye out for that. You know, I'm not going to bet against the government. I'm not going to bet against the Federal Reserve. I mean, Jerome Powell has said he's attacking inflation. Specifically, you know, rental market, shelter, 32% of CPI. I mean, the rental market's getting hammered. Do you think institutional investors are going to want to buy at the peak prices in a distressed rental market? I don't think so, guys. And on top of that, he's also combating the labor market. And if the Federal Reserve overcorrects and we have skyrocketing unemployment, we're going into depression. You know, the only thing that's gonna save us from a depression. Anyways, guys, I actually talked so long on this video that my memory card is actually out of memory, so I'm gonna wrap this up. You know, in other words, guys, let's try to purchase right out, you know, a little bit further outside of the bubble, and let's get a deal of our lifetimes by being strong, understanding that Wall Street is not gonna bail out all of these new home builders, even though they're offering 15 to 20% off. More than likely, Wall Street's gonna need a lot more money off, and before the builders actually go 30 to 40% off and sell in bulk, they're going to try to sell in the retail sector, and that's when you and I get, you know, potentially the deal of our dreams and the deal of our lifetime. I really hope you guys got some value, insights, and perspective from today's video, and if you're out there investing in real estate, you know I wish you luck and I hope you win.